Hello and welcome to the demo of Stiff Neck. So in this game you play as Noel, who is a police officer who suffers from a chronic neck pain, hence the name Stiff Neck. Besides that, there's been a disturbing incident in town. A certain perpetrator by the name of the Flayer has committed a crime in a toy factory, and now cursed dolls start appearing in a abandoned tower. So yeah, this game is going to be a visual novel, so if it's not your type of game, feel free to click off. But other than that, yeah, without further ado, grab a cup of coffee and let's get going with the demo of Stiff Neck. This game is purely fictional. All characters, events, and locations depicted are created. Okay, well, a very small number of people may experience epileptics. It's going way too fast. Going way too fast for this. I'm in a subway passage, but there's no announcement screen, no passengers, no train. I walk downward. A yellow exit sign flashes ahead. A green emergency passage glows softly. A blue transfer passage blinks before me. The alarm rings. It's a weekday, 6:52 a.m. I silence it and slowly arise. Nil still has his face buried in the pillow. I can't tell whether he's truly asleep or only pretending. I make my way to the bathroom and hold my hand under the faucet. Nothing. Then I remember. Nil's faucet isn't motion activated. I lift the handle with my wrist. Oh, fancy faucet, I see. I met Nil Sui on a blind date. He is 3 years younger than I, quiet, agreeable, and handsome in a gentle way. Well educated, he teaches experimental art at a university. A promising young man, earnest by nature. It was my mother who urged me into that blind date. Afterward, I showed her his photo and phone number. She approved at once, and so we began to see each other. Every week, I take a 30-minute bus ride to see him, to savor a small pocket of sweetness. There's no parking near his apartment, and driving is a hassle, so I rely on the low-carbon, environmentally friendly bus instead. We meet only once a week. My job keeps me busy. It has been this way for 6 months, and Nil has never once complained. I wash my face, tie my hair into its usual low ponytail, and reach for my cup and toothbrush. The electric toothbrush hums to life when I press the switch, vibrating against my teeth. I pause, then move it to the next section. Brushing teeth requires no thought. All I need to do is look at the woman in the mirror, a woman suspended between youth and middle age, with a palm-sized bluish birthmark on the right side of her face. Her coarse hair is gathered into a ponytail that falls stiffly down her back. Who am I? I'm Noel. And who is Noel? Noel Su. So I assume this game maybe takes place in Taiwan, I imagine? Maybe. Who is Noel? Noel Su, a cisgender woman born on Christmas Day. She was given her name at the insistence of her devout grandmother, who forced her father to agree. Oh, of course, Noel, like French, Noel. But even then, there's no E at the end of Noel, so yeah. She was a well-behaved child, quiet, a little absent-minded, fond of books. Fortunately, her grades held steady, and she made it into a good university. Interesting that why is she talking to herself in the third person? After graduation, she joined the police force and became an officer. My work keeps me busy. A police officer, still bound to an old-fashioned rotating shift system that grants only 1 day off a week, which is why I can only come here once a week. I set the cup back on its rack and return to the bedroom. Nil is still asleep, face buried in the pillow. When he lies on his side, he always presses himself low, almost as if in prostration, just like last night. I move it to his desk. The monitor is dark, though the power button glows a soft orange. Besides it rests a small stack of papers and blank sheets. On the topmost page, a single line appears, framed in quotation marks. The Flayer. My mind goes blank for a moment. Then I recall, it's the title of an old thriller novel. Not surprising to see it repurposed for an art project. I steady myself, lift the A4 sheet, and prepare to read. I never realized his experimental art included the grotesque. Beneath the cover page lies a pencil sketch. Two dolls sit inside a car, their bodies smeared in red, one in the driver's seat, the other in the passenger seat. The caption reads, on the weekend, Noelle Sue drives with her wife back to her wife's parents' home. That's a mouthful. A cheerful ringtone cuts through the silence. Neil stares, reaching blindly across the nightstand for his phone. Mimi, the tortoise-shell cat, passes in the room, meowing for breakfast. Neil mutters a few groggy words in the phone, says this aside, then straightens, looking at me and at the cat. His hair fluffs from sleep, his eyes half-lidded. He looks dazed, not yet fully returned to himself. I'm still holding the sheet of paper in my hand. Who is my wife? Is this part of your thesis? From the thrill of the same name? Who's my wife? My wife? It's just a rough draft. I borrow your name for now. I haven't decided on the protagonist's name yet. Is this part of your thesis? Neil's research topic is love. People are endlessly fascinated by it, which lets him produce a steady stream of work on the subject. A convenient topic, one that makes promotion easier. Perhaps that's why he chose it. Yes, I revised it countless times, but I'm still not satisfied. From the thrill of the same name. I remember this title from a thriller. Did you draw from it? The novel itself is dull. The only good thing about it is the catchy title, so I borrowed it. The Flayer. He's just avoiding the question. Is he unhappy with me? I don't know how to respond, so I just pick up Mimi and give the automatic feeder a kick. Cat food rattles down, and Mimi slips from my arms like cream. Don't do that, you'll break it. He finishes washing up, takes 2 eggs from the fridge, and starts making breakfast. I grab a large scallion from the fridge, wash it, and snap it in half, and chew it with bean paste. No, what the heck? So I assume the bean paste is something called like a fuyu, which is just like a fermented tofu to some degree, with some other stuff. But yeah, that's basically what fuyu is. Nell brings over fried eggs, bread, and lettuce. I'm so confused by these breakfast items. What the heck? Is this I don't know if fuyu with like scallions is that common? Someone tell me if this is common. Fried eggs, bread. That's fine, but then why lettuce? You're eating that in the morning? I give a muffled swallow and finish eating. How's work? Same as always. Neighbor disputes, arson, murder, and AI dogs climbing trees. Should have made them cat-shaped. Police dogs are everywhere, but police cats? Only AI could pull that off. How's your work going? Not great. I think back to the call that woke him up at dawn. Was the department head pushing you again? Pushing the project, pushing the collaboration, same old things. Neil's a lecturer, assigned to the department head's team. Unfortunately, the man has all the worst habits of a boss, ordering people around, wringing out labor and money wherever he can. Buried under those tasks, Neil has had little time for his own research and has already missed the associate professor review for 2 consecutive years. He complains about it now and then, but that's just how work is. Don't push yourself, take it slow. Heading out already? I roll my neck, push back the chair and stand. Yeah, see you next week. I change into my uniform and pull on my brown coat, open the door and close it behind me, watching Neil's back fade from view through the narrowing gap until the lock clicks shut. I take the elevator down and step out onto the city street. I was gonna say, damn, every week, seeing each other every week seems like an infrequent, schedule. But I remember, my sister and her boyfriend do that. They see each other like once a week because they kind of live apart. So I'm like, okay, never mind, that makes sense. Yeah. 8:30 a.m. It's a cloudy day. I'm not going to work. I still have half a day of leave and don't need to be in the office until 2 p.m. It's different from my usual schedule, but I didn't tell Neil. There was no need. I take a northbound bus for 2 stops and get off in front of a high-end office building. I show the security guard my membership card and take the elevator up to the 11th floor. The second room on the 11th floor is a blind massage clinic. I booked a 1-hour neck and shoulder massage session for this morning. Police work means staring at screens, hauling heavy gear, and switching between day and night shifts, so I've ended up with a common modern ailment, cervical strain. After 2 months of worsening pain, I found this massage clinic and registered for a monthly package. It has excellent reviews online. A few potted green plants sit outside the entrance. I press the doorbell. While waiting for someone to answer, I notice several patches of mold on the wall behind them, unusual for this dry northern city. Perhaps they carelessly let water splash against the wall while tending to the plants. You're right on time. There's still a spot inside, and food is free. I nod and draw the curtain aside. Inside, 3 beds, 1 empty. The other 2 occupied by middle-aged men lying face down, eyes closed. 2 masseurs, I'm just gonna say this in French. Masseurs move quietly around them. I straighten my clothes, then obediently lie down on the remaining bed, slide my face into the hole and staring vacantly at the floor. Bed 3. Hello, Officer Zhu. How was your month? This is my massage therapist, Will Fu. Never chosen specifically. On my first visit, I told the front desk to assign anyone, and they sent Will. Every visit after that, the receptionist would ask which therapist I preferred, and I simply asked for the one from last time, and so Will became my regular masseur. He's skilled, strong, easy to talk to, and never crosses boundaries. I've never had a reason to switch. Always come in uniform. The first time, Will felt the stiff fabric under his hands and asked what I did. I told him I was a police officer. Maybe that alone acts as a quiet deterrent. Not bad. Before the massage begins, Will smooths on a layer of what's said to be a potent foreign essential oil. Coolness seeps through my shoulders and neck like mint candy dissolving on the tongue. He works his way into my stiff muscles, his palms slow and deliberate. I hear the faint creak of joints deep in my cervical spine. In that moment, it feels as though Will isn't a masseur at all, but a mechanic, oiling and repairing the rusted parts of my body. Do you feel any better after recent sessions? Still getting headaches? Better than before. Still get dizzy sometimes. If I turn my head too fast, the vertigo hits. That sounds rough. You'll probably need a few more sessions. It's a real nuisance. I used to spend my days off playing games from morning to night, but now my neck can't even hold my head steady for 3 hours. I used to toss and turn in my sleep, now only dare lie flat on my back, stiff as a tightly wrapped mummy. When I go to bed, can't lie down too fast. In the morning, I can't get up too quickly either. When I was 20, I never imagined I'd be worried about any of this. That does sound troubling, but I've gotten used to it. Most of the time during the day, it doesn't affect me much. Still, remember to move around more. He kneads, pounds, and tugs at the tense muscles in my neck for a full hour. All done. I strain my neck, feeling my muscles relax for the first time in ages. Will is wiping his hands with a towel. His eyes sit in that slightly misplaced, unfocused. The lobster, get out of here. I don't know why when I do game record, sometimes like Steam pops up, but sometimes it doesn't. But yeah. I'm glad they addressed the mismatched eyes. I thought that was like an art thing, but I guess that's a conscious decision, which is nice to know. Unfocused way unique to the blind, one glance and anyone would know. His hair is much like mine, short, tightly curled, reminiscent of the cheap synthetic fluff on a toy teddy bear. I feel much better now, thank you. Will smiles, though he can never see that smile himself. Oh, he's blind, I see. Consider upgrading your monthly package. Next time, we can add a lower back session. I've noticed the signs of a herniated disc. I'm quite convinced every bone in my body has a problem. Scoliosis, herniated discs, frozen shoulders, even rheumatoid arthritis. Will keeps smiling as he runs his fingers along the shelf and plucks out a dark red VIP card. The gold embossed letters gleam sharply in the sunlight. He lifts the card reader from the desk and offers it to me with unerring precision. With the 20% discount, the upgrade package will be just 320 yuan per month. Do I really want the lower backs? Oh man. I just do lower back workouts, you know? Oh, fine. Might as just 320. That's gonna be like 60 something in Canadian. That's still for a monthly. Okay. Wait, per month. That's not bad though. If she visits like every week per month, that's not bad. I didn't realize he did subscriptions for massages. I suppose this must count towards his performance metrics. Maybe I really am developing signs of a herniated disc. Better to take precautions now than wait until it gets worse. I let out a sigh, pull out my bank card from my wallet and swipe it. Will keep smiling as he hands me the gleaming VIP card. And my contact, if you're feeling well. Okay, so I'm glad that they actually. Okay, so notice the pupils of Noelle, they're like black, whereas with Vuel's pupils, they're like slightly grayish. Now, obviously, that could be a conscious decision to match the hair with the eyes, but he's also blind, which means that I guess there's maybe I don't know, a significance to that, or like it's just like, you know, unfocused. Yeah, it's probably my best guess. At my contact, if you're ever feeling well, let me know. I'll teach you how to unease it. And when you plan to come by, just tell me in advance. I'll hold a slot for you. Alright. So I added him onto the chat app. Will's profile picture is a staff portrait, arms crossed, and his display name is simply his real one, Will Fu. My own profile picture is a landscape. My nickname reads Invincible. Seeing that he has nothing more to say, I rise, pull on my coat, and head out. A faint coolness still lingers at the nape of my neck. Officer Zhu, goodbye. I'll look forward to your next visit. The cafeteria lady at the police station says this to me with a smile. I dump my leftovers, slide the tray back onto the mail rack, and prepare to start my shift. The main office hall is bustling. I take my seat and decide to handle some paperwork first. From my desk, I can see directly into the chief's small glass-walled office. A man gestures wildly, speaking in urgent bursts. The chief, however, leans back in her swivel chair, raising her right hand, likely in a calming gesture. On a sofa, a woman with loose, wavy curls sits with her back to me. Her silhouette stirs a faint sense of familiarity. I pull my gaze back to my monitor, watching the boot screens spinning a circle inch its way forward. In my peripheral vision, the chief rises and walks towards the glass window directly opposite my seat. Please don't call me. The chief has already tapped the window with the back of her hand in my direction. I feign confusion, lifting my head and pretending I don't understand, but she immediately hooks a finger at me, beckoning with the same easy friendliness one might use to summon a puppy. I rise stiffly. Great. New trouble, new tasks already stacked for the afternoon. In the gaps between them, I still have to deal with the leftover scraps of old work. Life feels like stretching melted cheese. Once you take a bite, you have to hurry for the next, or the long stringy heat snaps back onto your chin. There's never a moment to pause and chew. Only by swallowing the entire cheese ball whole could you end it, and naturally, that would finish me off as well. With this silent rant simmering in my head, I step inside. I nod to the chief, then to the well-dressed man in the suit, and finally to the woman on the sofa. She looks startled at the sight of me, but quickly smiles, as if realizing that my presence here is perfectly reasonable. Her pink gold curls spill over her shoulders. She's still wearing that crimson coat and the wristwatch printed with some author's face. Still the same edgy style the chief once teased her about. My brain, in an effort to protect me, slows everything to a crawl. It's like watching a sloth strike a gong, its arm sinking one painstaking centimeter at a time. I hold my breath. Thud. As if a circuit finally snaps into place, I jolt back into myself and manage to stumble out her name. Grace Gu. She continues to wear that practiced sweet smile while offering a graceful little nod. That smile has already crushed me. Even my chiefs and the man's voices seem to bow before it. Whatever they say next passes straight through my head. I respond with mechanical little and yes. Standing slightly to the side of my chief, my line of sight naturally drifts towards her. There are hundreds, even thousands of women named Grace across the country. She once felt such an ordinary name was unworthy of her, but a name becomes so entangled with a person's adult life that in the end, she never mustered the will to change it. The well-dressed man is the manager of a toy factory, and lately, something deeply unsettling has happened at his plant. On the premises stands an abandoned tower. Normally, no one ever goes there, but with recent unrest amongst the workers, a few wandered inside by accident. What they found was a heap of grotesque toys, stuffed animals of all sizes, slit open from belly to back, hacked to pieces, with the names of the factory owner and employees sprawled across them. This resembles an old, obscure local curse. You write your enemy's name on a doll, then break its limbs, stomp on it, or pierce it with silver needles. By tormenting the surrogate, misfortune is said to befall the enemy. I had never heard of the ritual being performed on cartoon animal toys instead of human-shaped dolls. But once the workers saw them, rumors spread that the factory's geomantic omen was rotten, that something evil was lurking there. Even those who hadn't been part of the protest heard the story and fled home to avoid the ominous luck. It was either someone intentionally screwing with us or some lunatic who escaped from a psychiatric ward. I murmured a non-committal in response. How'd they get your names? I put the staff list on the factory website. You people were the ones who insisted on transparency and not openness. Grace Goo is my chief's niece, divorced with a 2-year-old daughter. I met her at a bar. She had pink gold permed waves and a fitted crimson coat. When I reached out to estimate her height, I realized she stood 2 centimeters taller than me in heels. We shook hands, then kissed, and actually ended up in the same hotel bed. My mother, who worked with the chief, finally stopped arranging blind dates for me after hearing about it. We did have a good time together, but eventually we broke up. Like all seasonal couples, we fought, cursed, blocked each other, and stopped seeing one another. Grace walked out of my apartment building with her daughter in one hand and the suitcase in the other, leaving without a flicker of warmth. It's been a year since we broke up, and the reason? I didn't like dumplings, and Grace insisted on making them. Jeez. All the toys belong to our boss. Boss. Destroying them is clearly a criminal offense. Using dolls for superstitious curses violates the city's Public Security Administration regulations, specifically the clause on using superstitious toys to undermine law enforcement. This mess has even halted factory production, causing massive financial losses for the owner. As the head of the largest toy factory in the city, our boss oversees billions in annual revenue. And I, as his representative, has every right to demand the police catch whoever did this, whether it's a lunatic, a thug, or some mischief-making brat. The police are responsible for maintaining public order. This suspect, who has committed not 1, not 2, but 3 offenses, must be apprehended. After the breakup, my mother came back in full force, with a fresh lineup of blind dates. She now sits across from me at the dining table. I like how she's just completely, it's all going across, like she's not even paying attention to this situation. Fanning out the photos in her hands. You're 30. I'm 30. You're 30. I'm 30. Ugh, my silly child. I didn't respond to that. After all, I'm not the silly one here. I chose Nil. When I'm with him, I sometimes think of Grace, especially when he makes dumplings. But once I told him I didn't like them, he stopped. Instead, he preps scallions with bean paste, my favorite. Grace still wears that practice smile she uses in her videos, occasionally smoothing down her curls. I can read. This isn't something we can simply ignore. It may seem trivial now, but who can say whether it'll turn into something we must deal with later? Put superstition aside, just as some people abuse cats and dogs, someone who abuses toys might as well escalate to hurting people, and that possibility does fall within our line of duty. My chief stands up and takes a slow, deliberate breath. Noelle, what do you think? She passes the issue squarely to me. Yeah? Well, head to the site this afternoon. Bring that elementary school kid back to the station and have his parents come in for a talk. Why are you guys assuming it's an elementary school kid already? What the heck? I figure if the toy factory owner is the boss of all toys, then he's naturally my boss too. And since I'm a public serpent, I'm sorry, I saw the snake and I just registered that serpent instead of servant. Servants, I suppose that makes me just another piece of the toy factory's assembly line. So this shocking case of murder toys that shuts down the production line naturally requires the police to step in and handle it. Alright, officer, give me a call when you get there. I have to run. My schedule's packed. I need to rush across town for a meeting. Chief, remember to assign a few officers to talk to those workers. They'll be back in a few days waving banners again. It's really disrupting public order. Having said that, he storms out of the chief's office with none of the demeanor of someone asking for a favor. The chief gives me a shrug, as if to say, go deal with it. He represents the he represents the factory owner after all. Auntie, I'm leaving too. You always bring me trouble. Grace ignores the comment. She gives me a quick look, and I follow her out of the station. The moment she steps through the glass doorway, her expression snaps back into its usual cool detachment. She pulls out an e-cigarette from her bag and takes a drag on the steps and exhales a slow ring of vapor like the mystical fog Immortal blows out in a TV drama. Who's the manager? A relative. He works under my ex-husband. You know the toy factory owner's Coco's dad. I have nothing to say to that. Don't get the wrong idea. He only came to me because the toy factory's in trouble. My ex-husband's out of town for a meeting. He probably doesn't even know about this yet. Nothing to do with me. She smiles again. If you have time later, can I treat you to dinner? I feel like things got a bit messy between us before. We're adults. I hope we can at least still be friends. My fingers fidget with my phone in my pocket, unsure whether I should take her off the block list. Grace simply lifts her phone and holds the screen out to me. This is my new number. You know what? Sure. Might as well. Just as friends, though. I jot down and add her back to my contacts. She pockets her phone, walks over to her parking spot, gets into her car, and then loops back around and pulls up right in front of me. Okay, so the reason why I decided to do that is because logistics, you know. Still technically related to the case. You know, she was there for the case, so might as well. She might be involved. You really have to come. Remember how I read your fortune last time? Read your fortune. This year is a special one. I can't explain it here. Just make sure you reach out. Finishing her words, she rolls the window up and drives off. So I assume that Grace is some sort of like social media influencer or something like that. Because, I mean, they did say like she was filming like videos or whatever. And up here it says follow, as in like follow me and stuff like that. I return to the office with a heavy heart, knowing I'm in no state to handle another sheet of paperwork. I'm fully prepared to let more entropy pile on my already chaotic day. Grab my car keys and take in the AI police dog. I speed north toward the toy factory. I blare the shrill, alternating red-blue siren without restraint. After all, I'm now on the hunt for the toy ripper, and this counts as a level 1 emergency. At the end of the winding highway, the toy factory sprawls across the northern outskirts like a giant black cat. A pitch-black tower rises from the grounds. Once the tallest building in the city, now the crime scene. It looks to me like the cat's rigid, unmoving tail. I call the manager, but his secretary picks up instead, explaining that the manager is at a meeting down south, and I will come meet me instead. I pass through the factory gates and lift the AI dog out of the car. Concrete roads cut across the empty grounds. The security guard in the booth, seeing me enter, discreetly palms a phone from underneath the desk. Several large ambiguous buildings stand scattered and forsaken at the perimeter. perimeter. No machines are running. Only a few sparrows sit motionless on the high power lines, with no one walking the roads. The whole place feels like an irreversible omen of decline. The manager has good reason to be furious. Squinting under the noon sun, I spot someone, a figure waving as he walks down the asphalt road. That must be the secretary. Hello, we're from the city police. We're here to investigate the case. The secretary startles, hand to his chest, then quickly regains his polite composure. Officer, is this an AI dog? Incredible. Yes, it's equipped with high-performance AI and a communication system. It can even carry weapons. It has become a reliable partner, and now we can respond to calls on our own. With doubled efficiency, petty theft has already dropped. Amazing. The city is safe thanks to your hard work. Let's head to the crime scene. You make it sound scary. Even so, he still leads us towards the tower. I glance up at the sparrows perched on the power lines. The dog has already trotted ahead of me, urging me forward. Noel, keep up. I catch up to them and give the dog a pat on the head. Everyone at the station has their own AI dog. The more you talk to it, the more its personality diverges. Some people even name their dogs after themselves because the dogs eventually start sounding just like their owners. I often chat with mine during night shifts. I tell it which tone to use or how it should phrase certain things. The once humble dog absorbed my entire training set, then grew into the bold and reckless creature it is today. Where AI can replace humans is a hotly debated topic. The idea of humans being replaced is admittedly a little bleak, yet AI pulled me out of the shadow of suspected schizophrenia. I've tuned it into a second version of myself. That's mildly concerning. We reach the tower. The secretary fishes a large ring of keys from his pocket. The tower itself is just an ordinary black structure, mottled with decades of rust. What's the purpose of this tower? All because our boss father wanted to be a princess. He sounds irritable, clearly fed up with this whole mess. What? He clears his throat, straightens up, then launches in the story. The old man wanted to build the tallest tower in the entire city, high enough to overlook everything, even the sea to the north. Once it was finished, he moved in and used the top floor as his office. And after that, he never came down again, just like a fairy tale princess. It was until one day when no documents came down from the top that we realized he had passed away. Our boss decided the place had turned unlucky, so he locked it up. Isn't that a waste of the view up there? Oh, come on, that was ages ago. The city's TV tower is way taller now. If you want a view, go there. Just be ready to pay the 200 yuan entrance fee. The dog murmurs in my ear. He's getting a bit too talkative. Not that that's a bad thing for us. The secretary walks to the door, struggling to fit the key into the lock. Officer, the workers have been protesting around this tower for days, all because it's a so-called landmark. This place even went viral online a few years back. Bloggers love taking photos through the chain link fence and inventing all sorts of paranormal stories. But the world never runs out of ghost stories, so now no one cares about this tower anymore. They've been waving banners for days. Those toys must have been their doing, part of their plan. They crowded around the stupid tower yelling to loudspeakers, but the moment they saw those toys, they scattered in a panic, a total rabble. All just to curse us, to drag our factory through the mud, and to scare the other workers. Honestly, the place is quieter once they all go home. The secretary pushes the door open for me. Still, the factory can't stay shut forever. He adds, then falls quiet again, standing near and neatly by the doorway. I step into the first floor room by the tower, an abandoned space, completely bare. The toys start the spiral staircase on the left. Creepy stuff. Have a look for yourself, officer. Oh, now I can interact with the other side of the screen. Dog moves up the stairs with light, precise steps, reporting the first victim. Brown bear, width 7.42 centimeters, height 12.53 centimeters, thickness approximately 5 centimeters. That's not very thick. Fabric composition primarily polyester, filling polyester, manufactured 1 to 2 years ago. No product label. All 4 limbs severed and placed separately on the left, torso cut open along the midline from top to bottom, stuffing exposed. Psychopaths, they're just trying to scare people. Next to the second victim. a known white animal with short tail, width 5.65 centimeters, height 5.89 centimeters, length 9.17 centimeters. Fabric composition, primarily polyester. Filling, also polyester. Manufactured 1 to 2 years ago. No product label. Head missing. These toys really are unpleasant to look at. They have turned this place into a horror movie set. I'd only give it a 6 out of 10. Why aren't the name tags attached? We had someone remove them and put them away. Officer, nobody wants their name stuck on one of these things. I set up a cordon at the entrance. You're not going in? Officer, it's not that I don't want to. Everyone at the factory thinks this tower is ominous. The moment they reached the second floor, they bolted. None of them ever made it to the top. How did the workers get inside? Through the door or the windows? The door and the windows are usually left open. The tower wasn't locked at all at first because there was nothing inside. We only locked it after the incident. Are all these toys produced by our factory? There are no labels. The workers say yes. They're all the same design, so they're probably defective pieces without labels. And how do you usually handle defective products? Well, defective items are of course sent straight to the factory dump. So any worker could have taken them. Are there surveillance cameras here? There used to be. They smashed them a few days ago. I'm certain they did it on purpose. Please compile a list of the workers who protested over the past few days and give it to me later. Yes, officer. Noel, let's head upstairs. I've logged everything. Officer, be careful. This tower hasn't been maintained for a long time. How many more upstairs? Quite a few. Oh, that's cool. We got a blueprint. I step back on the staircase, following the dog upward. Every few steps, a damaged toy comes into view. I pause each time, waiting for the dog to deliver its autopsy report. I'd heard of a massacre in the neighboring city last century. The killer, driven by deep-seated hatred, slaughtered the victims and disemboweled them. The bodies hung upside down like pigs in a slaughterhouse. This wasn't some random psychopath passing by. Names were attached, likely someone with a grudge against the toy factory. The dog reports the 10th toy in its monotone. Oh, the stuffing has been removed. Then that's the last one. The stairs above fall into a void. The dog turns its head, looking at me with puzzlement. That's not quite a few. Let's keep going. The spiral iron staircase winds upward like the ridges of a seashell. I climb along its coils, occasionally lifting my head, feeling as if the stairway stretches endlessly towards the sky. I dare not keep my head up for long, lest my neck problem flare up. Cruel killers are often driven by lust, preying only on those weaker than themselves. Could this murderer be physically weak? Poisoning the cats and dogs at the toy factory proves too challenging for him, so he vents his rage and his curses on the toys instead. He must be deeply superstitious. Reaching the second floor, the victims appear again. The dog wags its tail, leaping with excitement toward the toys. The electronic voice continues to guide my gaze. The second floor is square with a 4x4 grid drawn in chalk in its center. Each square holds a damaged doll. The dolls scrawl crookedly, yet still wearing their stitched innocent smiles. There's no stench, nothing truly frightening. Only the stuffing has been replaced with a chaotic mix of copper wires, stones, and glass marbles. This killer is sick. First, it's not a killer. Second, you shouldn't let your emotions bias your judgment. I'm being objective. I won't linger. Once the dog finishes recording, I lead it upward. The stairs remain free of toys until the third floor. The layout here mirrors the second floor, except that 3 squares are left unfilled. The method shows no innovation, just cutting, hollowing, and refilling. We reach the entrance to the next floor, where a cold iron door bars the way. A massive lock denies me entry to the tower's top. I lean in to examine it. Dust has gathered half a finger thick on the lock. It hasn't been opened in at least 10 years. A thorough investigation requires patience. We should return to the secretary for the key. So we descend. I no longer glance at the toys, listening only to the iron steps creak beneath my feet. With each step, dust showers down. You should probably wear a mask for that. As we approach the second floor, the dog suddenly stops, ears prickled and alert. I'm about to ask, what is it, when I notice a bright red new toy in the center of the grid. The dog shakes his head, as if checking its memory. It wasn't here before. I walk over and squat, studying the toy closely. It isn't plush. Its texture is more like plastic. It isn't an animal, but a slender human figure. Limbs intact, no wounds, just painted deep red, no name attached. My crest tightens. My chest. Why did I say crest? What is wrong with me? My chest tightens. Looking at it feels like staring at a flayed person. What's going on? I don't know. Let's check out the first floor. I put on gloves, pick up the red toy, and then descend the iron stairs with the dog. And then we hear something hard strike the railing, like a pebble flicked into silent air, sending a trail of faint, rippling echoes. I spot someone standing inside the police cordon on the first floor. Hoodie, mask, sunglasses, stick in hand, could be more textbook criminal getup. I'm certain he's the one who placed the toy. Why is the music suddenly so loud? He stands there, looking at me. His face is impossible to make out. Didn't the secretary secure the entrance? The first thought that flashes through my mind is, why? Why? The word slips out before I realize it. I immediately start pounding on the iron railing, raising my voice to intimidate him. Police, don't move or I'll shoot. The moment he hears that, he vaults over the police line and bolts. Go after him. He can't outrun a dog. The dog lets out a furious burst of barks, then lunges downward in a run and jump. I sprint after it, racing down the stairs. The shoddy iron steps clatter wildly beneath our feet, and harsh daylight streaks upward past me. It feels like a chase scene, my heart hammering, dopamine slamming against my skull. The red toy swings with my arm, carving a smiling arc through the air. Suddenly, it feels as this really is a blood-soaked murder site. 39 people gutted on the stairs, and one skinned alive. Dog, remember to call for backup. The dog's front paws land hard on the iron plate, using it to spring forward. Before I can react, the old plate groans and collapses. My leaning foot plunges into empty air. My body follows, dropping obediently through the gaping hole. The red toy flies from my hand. In my imagination, I should roll gracefully on landing like an action hero, then leap up to take down the criminal. In reality, the dog dives beneath me, deploying its air cushion to soften the impact. After the plate crashes to the ground, I hit next. Pain flares across my limbs, sharp and burning. My left forearm feels dislocated. I should be springing up to continue the chase, but a violent jolt triggers my cervical condition. The world spins out of control, my brain tumbling like laundry in the washing machine. Eyes squeezed shut, I lay face down on the floor, barely conscious. The crash must have drawn a guard or secretary, because I hear someone gasp. I look dead to them. The dog lies completely still as well. Thinking of the massive reinforcements its death would summon, I go limp, surrendering my body to gravity. The dog is totaled, its outer shell shattered everywhere. Only its AI chip remains intact, and because it's AI, it earns no medals, no ceremony, no recognition at all. But you could, insert into another dog, right? Lying in the hospital, I asked my mother to contact my friend in the tech department to transfer the dog's memory chip to my phone. I explained that I accidentally stepped onto a gap in the old dilapidated staircase while rushing to catch the suspect. Suspect? He's just a jerk who cuts up toys to curse people. He didn't kill anyone. Why take such a huge risk? She traces her fingernail beneath her left eye, as if wiping away imaginary tears. Did your condition flare up again? I sense a serious challenge looming. At first a laugh, trying to mimic my mother's tone. I wasn't paying attention. That's just my impulsive streak. Mother immediately smiles and nods. I called Nil. He'll come by to take care of you later. My chief knocks on the door to check on me, offering the usual platitudes. Take care, thanks for your effort, don't worry about the case. I accept them humbly, my eyelids struggling to stay open. What about the toys? They've already all been sent back to the station. Any arrests? No, are you sure you actually saw the suspect? Nobody saw him, and there's no surveillance either. That's going to be a problem. The secretary didn't see him? He went to the factory gate to welcome his boss, who had just returned from out of town that day. Get some rest first. My chief chats with my mother as they step outside. Their conversation drifts in through the doorway. I thought she only needed to handle paperwork. Why send her into the field? She's been in the office for years. Young people can't be satisfied just sitting inside all the time. It's usually light work, no all-nighters. This time was just an accident. I thought it was a prank. Who could have expected this? Don't let her handle cases like this again. I've already heard about it. It's completely ominous. You know she's been possessed before, and yet you still let her deal with this cursed stuff. Okay, I get your point. Anyway, the factory owner said no further investigations needed. Since nothing serious happened, we'll just proceed routinely and then call it done. Their voices gradually fade, and I drift into a slumber. When I wake up, Nell's already sitting beside my bed. You're awake. I've made black bone chicken soup and a few other dishes. He opens the stainless steel lunchbox, scoops out a spoonful of soup and feeds me. See my mother stay on the other side, obediently take a sip. I'm fine, I can leave the hospital now and follow up on the case tomorrow. I got you 2 days off. Go rest at Neil's place. Don't worry about the case. They've been speaking with the workers over the past few days. It's not homicide, so there's no need to rush. Neil and I take a taxi back to his apartment. The next day, my phone, now equipped with the dog's AI memory chip, is returned to me. My coworkers tell me the red toy has vanished. They haven't found anything like it, and I have no idea where it rolled off to when I fell. Surely it wasn't just my imagination. Neil keeps to his routine. Wake up, cook, work, sleep. I drift through mine. Wake up, eat, play video games, eat, sleep. Feeling guilty about having him cook 3 meals a day for me, I make a point checking in on him that evening. How's your thesis coming along? Not much progress. I think it's interesting, since you use my name in it. Can I see what comes next? Neil shakes his head, but after a moment, he picks up 2 sheets of paper from beside the bed and hands them to me. He's brought me fries, something I like to hold in my mouth after dipping in ketchup, pretending it's a cigarette. I flip through his drawings while nibbling. The second page shows a peeled tangerine. The caption reads, "On the way home, there's a river with a bridge over it. Beyond the bridge sits an old man on a folding stool, selling tangerines from a sack. The wife sees him and says to Noel, 'Let's buy some tangerines.' Noel pulls over and buys a bag. When she wants one, he peels it for her. 'Don't worry,' she says, kissing his cheek nervously. 'I've always loved you.' Mimi jumps onto the bed and curls up in my arms. I turn to the next page. 3 little red figures, 2. Why did I say 3? I'm really having difficulty reading today. The caption reads, "The wife has always loved writing. Her cabinet is full of books, and she dreams of becoming an author. Noel loves reading too, and he's always been her first reader. She always perches on a swivel chair, listening to his critiques with a bright smile, and when he finishes, she climbs up to kiss him. But one day, she stops writing. 'Don't leave me,' she says, so they get married." These 2 red figures make me think of the red toy in the tower. I murmur to myself, "The flare." What's wrong? I put another fry into my mouth. Nothing. Next page is blank. I hand the papers back to him. The wife should have a name too. Let's call her Flint. Neil gives a soft smile. How'd you come up with that? My phone screen lights up, and the dog pops out cheerfully. That's my pen name. It belonged to a friend of mine who passed away. Well, using it to remember someone is nice. Saturday morning, I finished getting dressed by the coat rack. I need to head home and tidy up before my afternoon shift. I heard the case hasn't made any progress. The workers they questioned didn't know anything. Noel has just returned from the morning market, a heavy plastic bag in each hand. He doesn't respond. Something rare for him. He sets the groceries down in the kitchen, then walks to the dining table and sits. His lashes lower, his fingers interlaced tightly. I adjust the buttons on my cuffs and walk over to the table as well. What's wrong? Can you quit your job? I freeze for a moment. Is that supposed to be a joke? Can't you spend the night at my place all 5 days? I take out my phone, wake the screen to focus again on the group chat. Still no new messages. I'm too busy with work. This place is rented by you. My own dorm is more spacious and comfortable. Sorry. I don't like how we are now. Every week, all I can do now is wait for you to come over, and then you leave after a single night. Don't you have a life of your own? It should be our life. I want our life. What kind of life do you want exactly? Every morning, I walk into the living room and see you sitting in that chair. You're scrolling on your phone while eating scallions dipped in bean paste. That's the life I want. That sounds like a broken piano key. What does that mean? Key that just keeps hitting the do note. Because it's do, I guess. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Which would be what in English. I don't remember what the key is for I don't know what the translation is. Cause English uses like a different thing, right? I'm pretty sure. I don't know what the alphabet one is. Noah claps his hands tightly again, resting down on his knees. As he moves, he lowers his head slightly and his tousled hair sways. Then we should break up. My fingers stop on the scroll bar. The screen spasms with flickering colors. I'm going to the bathroom. I go inside, turn on the faucet, and once again face myself in the mirror. Who am I? I'm Noelle. And who is Noelle? Noelle Sue, a cisgender woman born on Christmas Day. She was given her name at the insistence of her devout grandmother. She is a well-behaved child, quiet, a little absent-minded, fond of books. Fortunately, her grades held steady, and she made it into a good university. After 3 years at a prestigious southern school, she developed a common modern illness, depression. She took a leave, then dropped out. 2 or 3 years later, she recovered. At her mother's insistence, her mother being a police officer, she took the civil service exam, joined the police, became an officer, mostly doing paperwork. Why did I want to become a police officer in the first place? The dog hears my voice and wakes up from its dormant state. Noelle, why did you want to become a police officer in the first place? So, I do think that Nil might be going a bit further than... Okay, I am commenting on this even though I know I'm not in a relationship, but he is taking this to quite extreme, where it's like, oh, quit your job or else I'm just breaking up with you. Like that is quite extreme. I think it's obviously important to have like some form of communication and some form of compromise, but here it's just an ultimatum, right? It's like, leave your job or leave me, which is kind of extreme. For the good pay, for the excitement, because it's what my parents wanted. They wanted me to live a normal life. Because most work is dull. The salary is very stable. And I wanted a normal life too. I had to get back on track. So you dated Neil just to live a normal life? I suppose, from the first moment I met him, I thought he'd be a suitable match. If I had to choose a man to spend my life with, it might as well be someone like him. Someone a little soft, a little feminine. Since getting together with Nil, I've never broken a promise or stood with him up. Whenever he speaks, I try my best to listen. He never complains, I never get angry at him. Our life has been steady, quiet. He always sits at the table with his head lowered. I've always been satisfied with him. He cooks, he's soft-spoken, he's diligent. Aside from the occasional pair of doodled-on socks he slips into my pockets, there's hardly anything to fault. Isn't this the kind of life thousands of couples long for? Even though I've never seriously considered marrying him, my mother always smiles sincerely at my happiness. He spent my entire childhood complaining about my father, and my father, just an ordinary civil servant, would come home only to collapse on the sofa, remote in hand, resting it against his bent knees. Isn't that just like me, with Nil too, and the murmuring, wary grievances about my back, behind my back the way my mother once did? So, do you want to break up? I just keep feeling there should be someone waiting at home. Feels like a part of life. Everyone at the station is dating someone. It's a rare experience too. And why is having someone at home so important? My life becomes calmer, more like everyone else's. Ah, man. Are we even a good match? Are you kidding? You hit the jackpot. Just look at you, then look at him. I suppose so. My eyes are small, my nose is long, there's a bluish birthmark on my right cheek. At 30, I have already wrinkles on my forehead. Neil looks almost like an ordinary woman, and he keeps himself in great shape. He's considered pretty for a man. I'm the one who's out of his league. I step out of the bathroom. I mean, I do think that she should communicate and just try and find a compromise first. Alright, I'll move in. Now let's cook. Wait, what was the thing about breaking... What was the thing about quitting the job? I'm so confused by this. Okay. The demo has ended. Thank you for playing. If you enjoyed the game, please add Stiff Neck to your wish list and follow the game. It really helps us. Alright, so that was the demo to Stiff Neck. So, I don't know how to feel about this. I do wish there was more to the mystery. Because right now it is... There's a lot going on. There's a lot of loose threads right now. So obviously the first one is her neck problem, which is where the game is sort of named after, right? So clearly there's importance placed on her neck problem, and not just on the physical side. If you have an entire game named after something, then it has to have a specific narrative purpose, right? So clearly, there's something up with that. There's something up with the massage and stuff like that. The second thread is Nil, right? Nil is very sus because whenever Noelle's talking about him, she's always talking like, oh, the flayed thing and stuff like that, especially when she's looking at his thesis and stuff like that. And then of course we have the case with the red doll and stuff like that. So right now, we don't really see how all of these threads really overlap, right? So it's very, very interesting. Now, it can go in a lot of ways. So right now, of course, we have our cast of characters. We have Grace, we have Will, we have... Why did I suddenly forget his name? Why did I suddenly forget about... Oh, jeez. Why did I suddenly forget about the boyfriend's name? I'm brain lagging all of a sudden, man. Nil. Because there's Will and there's Nil, so that's why I'm confused. Yeah. So obviously, they can go so we have those are our three main characters right now. Aside from Noelle, we have Nil, we have Will, and then we have Grace. Usually what this means is that the plot revolves around this cast of characters, and the suspect will be one of them. Usually when it comes to novels and stuff like that, it will be a named character from the beginning, or else it'll just seem like a deus ex machina that they introduce if they have like a nameless person. So it has to be, well, they can introduce like a character later on, but still. One thought I had was Nil is like kind of the obsessive type, you know. He was like, oh, you know, I decided to do this because it's the only time that you spend with me, because yeah, other than that, you only spend one day at me, so I decided to create a case, so then you spend more time with me, so then you actually spend time looking at me, or something like that, right? That's like a very, very generic setup, but of course, again, we don't have enough information to really piece everything together. Yeah. So, now, writing-wise, there's a lot of descriptors. There's so much description. Oh my god, there's so much description. Like, I'm about, like, half of what I spoke in this video was just description, which I don't mind for a novel, specifically for a novel. But when it comes to a visual novel, this is a lot of description. Usually when there's a lot of text in a visual novel, it usually comes down to a monologue, it usually comes down to inner thoughts. But here, it's a lot of description, which I'm like, I don't know about that. I would have much preferred hearing a lot more of the monologue from Noelle, because she is our main character and she is a police officer, so clearly she should have a sharper mind, she should notice things. So I did want more of a monologue-esque thing, just her thought process and stuff like that. So I would have liked that. Other than that, I do think that it is a pretty cool story. But again, I do wish we could have seen a bit more of the mystery side and all that stuff. But yeah. Art was pretty cool. Sound design was pretty okay. Pretty good. Yeah, right now we just don't have enough threads to connect anything. And I do wish that the mystery was just a bit more gruesome, so that really hooked us in. Because right now it's just like broken toys and stuff like that. But the thing with the Steam description page is that it did say, dredges up the old wounds she has tried for years to forget, which is interesting. So this might be, this is a bit more on the psychological side, of course, and less so about like the mystery itself. So this might be more about Noelle as a character. So it's more like a character drama, maybe. But yeah, who knows? And so yeah, if you guys want to try out Stiff Neck for yourself, make sure to wishlist the game. It is coming out on April 3rd, or if you guys just want to read the text and whatnot, or choose different options, make sure to download the demo and give it a shot for yourself. But other than that, make sure to wishlist the game to give the game an algorithm boost. It is coming on April 3rd, so keep an eye out on it. But besides that, I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when and where you guys are, and see you guys next time. Bye, see you, and take care, bye.